We're talking about child abuse issues, child sexual abuse issues, and we've been walking through the process of how to identify it, not necessarily how to prevent it, but how to address it in our society. And it's my pleasure to welcome back Beverly Drakes. Good morning, Beverly.
Good morning.
And she's brought with her Alana Warren, who is a clinical psychologist as well. Good morning, Alana.
Good morning, ladies.
We've been having this conversation over a few weeks, and you're becoming like a friend. So we're glad to welcome you back to continue the chit-chat.
Thank you.
This week we talk about self-esteem and how it plays a part, or how it is one of the cogs in the wheel of the cycle of abuse. Do you want to explain that?
I will, but just before we do that, I just want to backtrack a little bit on last week. And the issue of children and lying about sexual abuse was raised. And I think it's really important that we address that just a little bit more. I think I responded to it, but I think I'd just like to really emphasize it a little bit. I think the whole notion of lying, children lying about abuse, is one that we have to take really seriously. It is the issue that gives perpetrators power. Yeah, it is the fact that they say no one is going to believe you, yeah, that constrains children as well and stop them from telling. So even though I think Pearson had raised the issue that there had been a case where a child had lied, the number of children who lie in that kind of situation are so minimal compared to the number who don't disclose just for that reason, that I think that we really have to be very sure that we are listening to children and that we are not telling them that they're lying. I have seen too many situations where children have been abused and have been told that they were lying.
And then they retreat.
And the damage that that does is unrepairable. So I just felt that it was really important for us to kind of reiterate that. And it kind of leads really well into our segment today, which is about self-esteem. Because one of the bases of self-esteem is kind of good communication and how we communicate with our children. And if we can establish good communication, then the whole issue about lying and children not being confident to come to us is you know, going to be reduced.
Okay, tell us about your role then, Alana, as a clinical psychologist, your role in all this.
As a clinical psychologist, I work with quite a few children and parents. I've been doing a lot of work recently in explaining to parents how, as Beverly said, they can be more open with their kids and encourage that dialogue to happen at home. It really, really comes down to listening. And I think that that's something that we could really be a lot better with here. Kids need to feel that they can come and tell us anything, no matter if whether it's going to be good or whether it's going to be bad. I do work in the pediatric department at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and I see a lot of cases where children feel like they cannot tell their parents if something has happened. They're worried about how the parents will react, how they will react to them, and they're also worried about how the parents will react to others. So they keep that information.
But is there a way to teach children to express that? Because first of all, there are some children who can't even say the words of their body parts, let alone saying it to their parents that somebody is affecting them, whether it's sexual abuse or somebody's telling them things that they should. You know, how do you start that process?
I think that the parents are the ones that need to start it. So they need to start by having the conversation, by explaining to their children what the body parts are, you know, in anatomically correct ways as well. If parents start that dialogue happening and they serve as a model for we can speak about this and we can be open about this, then the children will come to learn that.
Before we go to commercial break, I wanted to ask you what the cultural implications. In our society, we're very uncomfortable with discussing delicate things. How do we, as parents, foster an environment of communication when a child will go back out into a school environment and be teased for saying things that are, as you say, are anatomically correct, or expressing a side of their emotions that isn't that they will get teased for.
Okay, and I think last week again when we started to look at what are some of the things that we could do, and I was actually saying that, you know, we've got lots of camps and things coming up now, and there are really good ways in which we can deal with these issues, and we can deal with it through role play. It doesn't have to be a sit down and this is what you call this, and you know, we can make it fun and we can make it educational in terms of having, once we start to have it on our agenda as something that we want to address, we will find ways of doing it. And I think that that's where we are right now, needing to recognize how important it is for us to deal with these issues. And the whole thing about self-esteem, as Alana was saying, it is by us really focusing on that need for enhancing self-esteem, for developing those communication channels with our children. It is so vital that we have them. You know, bedtime is a great time to do it. Story time.
We're going to find out how some of the other ways we can encourage self-esteem. We need to take our final break. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
30 seems so old now, looking back. It's just a stepping stone to where we are, where we've been. Said we'd do it all again. Remember when?
Real men protect children, not harm them. Under the Convention of the Rights of a child is anyone under the age of 18. And it's sexual abuse if you ask to see or touch their private parts, touch them inappropriately, show them or force them to touch your private parts, have sex with them, show them pornographic material, or deliberately let them hear or see the act of sex. Real men don't abuse children, and they don't encourage others to do it either. Be a real man. For more information, please contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
We have a few minutes left with you on this, the Monday edition of Morning Barbados, and we're talking about a very sensitive subject, but certainly one that has to be dealt with, and we're looking at child abuse, sexual abuse. We need to take care of our little people, and they have got to be the priority, and we're discussing ways to keep the communication open, ladies.
You were talking about different ways that you can encourage communication and therefore build self-esteem. You said bedtime was a great time. That was one of my favorite times, I have to tell you.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite times to chit-chat, and that's how my dad became one of my best friends. Especially through that period of time where it isn't cool to talk to your parents, because that will come, won't it?
Absolutely.
It will.
And that's why it's so important for us to establish that communication channel from very young. You know, what tends to happen is we don't have a good channel open, and then they get to adolescence and we say they don't talk to us. Well, why don't they? Because we haven't really, we've not set that as you know, as a platform. We have to lay the foundation so that children are able to come to us and talk to us about anything and feel confident to be able to do that. So obviously the way in which we do it, we need to respect what they say. We need to be able to give them the listening ear. Very often we listen to children, half listen, don't we? We're in the midst of doing something else and we're kind of half hearing. We ask, how is your day? But we don't listen to the response. You know, it's a routine. So we go through the routine of saying these things, but that's really not the ideal. What we really need to do is to decide that, you know, a little 10-minute, 15-minute where we sit down and we allow the child to direct the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Alana, in the last 30 seconds that we have, for a hurried mother who's listening now and thinking, oh, I really should pay more attention to that, but I have to go. 30 seconds or less, give her a quick tip that she can do this week to help a child that she doesn't think is communicating.
She can start by reading perhaps a 10-minute story taking pauses in between and giving the child a chance to sort of interject.
Say what they thought.
Say what they thought, say what they think, ask them at the end, what do you think?
That much I'm sure she heard, briefcase in hand and all.
Open the dialogue.
Open the dialogue.
Absolutely.
Keep the chit-chat going. Alana and Beverly, thank you so much for joining us. Beverly,
Thank
you're becoming
you.
an old friend on the set, and you always bring such great information, and most importantly, hope to a scenario that we're hoping to break the cycle of.
Of course.
So
Thank you.
hopefully you'll be back next week. We can continue that discussion. Cassandra, as
Indeed.
always, good news to share with other people.
Always good news, and this is a lot of good news right here because this probably didn't happen enough in the past, in years gone by when people just didn't discuss this. So now we're making it happen on Morning Barbados. All you have to do is watch and listen, and you can always, if you think you need further assistance, these ladies are more than willing to guide you in the direction. We have two psychologists here with us, one clinical. We want to say thanks again to Beverly Drakes and Alana Warren. So we'll see you next week. Before we go, though, I want to say a special good morning to a lady who's celebrating a birthday today. Her name is Marsha Marshall. Happy birthday to you. She's of Holders Hill. Her daughter, Moesha Marshall, says, my mom watches this program every day, and I want you to say good morning and happy birthday to her. So thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for sending that via our Facebook page, our Morning Barbados page. Thank you so much. And I have to thank some ladies. Oh, my goodness. I met a wonderful family on Friday. They too support and love Morning Barbados over in Christchurch. So let me go down the list. Want to say good morning first of all to Natasha Critchlow for taking wonderful care of my tresses. Thank you very much, Natasha. Good morning to your husband Dale. The whole family though, Philip, Shirley, and Kareem Whitney. We know you support Morning Barbados, so thank you very much. Pet, I will never forget your laughter. Wonderful stuff. Pet and Calvin Watkins, good morning. Thank you for all the hospitality. They fed me, Katrina. I went to get my hair braided and they fed me
you. Fantastic.
breadfruit and cucumber and
Maybe I should.
yeah, maybe you should.
I just go with the food.
That's all good too. Leandra, Tiffany, and sweet little Zara. Thank you so much for helping my Friday evening. So wonderful.
Morning Barbados, good morning.